welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be creating this look and I'm going to be chatting to you while I do it. I want to talk about online trolling and negativity and haters. I want to talk about haters. So if you want to see how I do this, then please stay tuned. Okay, so I've done my cleansing and my toning. I'm going to moisturize now. I'm just using a sample of a Vichy Idealia that I just think is quite nice. It's illuminating, and I'm trying to use up all my samples. I have a few things that I want to talk about. First order of business, did you sign up to my newsletter? They're going to go out every fortnight. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my face. I've been liking this Giorgio Armani primer. It's a little bit like the Smashbox, what's it called, photo finish, but I find this feels a little bit less heavy on your skin, but it then does make foundation sit really nicely, so I'm enjoying it. So what I wanted to talk about today is trolling. I'm going to do my foundation. I'm going to use the Stila Stay All Day, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I got an email last week. So it was titled Some Irritating Things About You, and it was essentially an email listing just that, things that this person found irritating about me. It's not the content of the email that really bothered me. I get that I'm not going to be for everyone, just the same way as nobody's going to be for everyone. As humans, we're not going to love everyone, we're not going to be best friends with everyone. So that totally makes sense. But the idea that somebody would go out of their way and then send me an email specifically designed to make me feel bad about myself. That's the part that I find kind of hurtful. It's not when somebody says, so like, what did they say? They said they find my voice really irritating because I go up at the end and I sound like an Australian person, and they said something like, I'm sure you find it really cute, but it's actually really annoying. I have never thought about trying to talk in a way that people would find cute. They also said that, they said you should wear makeup all the time because when you don't wear makeup you look haggard and tomboyish. That's what proves that it's a man. I'm going to do concealer now. I'm going to use the Glossier Stretch Concealer. All women know that women look more haggard without makeup, so a woman would never say that to you as an insult because you'd be like, yeah, duh. And the other thing was, your short hair makes you look like a lesbian, which A, is not very original, B, I don't find insulting because I don't find the idea of being a lesbian insulting. And C, it's just so dumb. It's like, somebody messaged me last month as well and said, your hair is really manly. Unless your hair is like in the shape of a dick, I don't see how it can be manly. I'm just going to use my little Prey. I don't know what these brushes are for. I got this from Trend Beauty and I'm going to use it now to buff in my concealer. I need to get myself some beauty blenders. Watching YouTube has made me really think I need a beauty blender. So they said my hair makes me look really manly, I look really haggard without makeup, and my hair makes me look like a lesbian. Those were the, there were more. I was going to say those were the appearance focused bits. No, there were more. They also said that it was hypocritical of me to write a piece criticizing Slimming World when, this is their quote, as somebody on boards pointed out, you've been piling on the weight yourself. And then obviously I went on to boards to go, who is saying this? And what somebody on boards had said was, she's criticizing Slimming World, but, and I hate to say this, she's clearly put on weight since she lost weight, which is true. And I wasn't criticizing Slimming World saying my way of losing weight is better. I was just saying I don't think Slimming World is very healthy or nutritionally sound. I will admit that I've put on weight since I lost weight, and I have admitted that, and I'm trying not to let it bother me. I'm kind of trying to focus on other things in my life other than losing weight, like being strong and ranting on YouTube. So yeah, they said that I'd piled on the weight, that I was a hypocrite. I can't remember what else they said, but it was just a long litany of things that are wrong with me. It really makes me wonder what exactly that person sees in me that A, makes them keep watching, and B, makes them so angry. And it kind of reminded me of Lindy West, is this feminist and fat activist, and she had this troll for a while. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you what I was doing there for bronzer. This Clarins bronzer that I love, but I think it's discontinued, but you should be able to get similar ones. It's really good. So Lindy West had this troll for a while who set up a Twitter account in the name of her father, who was dead, and used to just like send her insults the whole time. She actually found out who the troll was and ended up interviewing him, and he essentially came out and said, the reason I did it was that I hated to see somebody like you who was so happy with themselves when I didn't think they should be. They were looking at her and going, you're so fat and you're so unattractive, in their eyes. They didn't think that she should be happy with who she was, so it kind of galled them that she was so unapologetically confident and happy in herself. So it kind of made me wonder if that was the motivation behind their email to me. They were annoyed because I'm happy or because I'm not apologetic. You know, that I'm not kind of going, oh sorry guys, I've no makeup on again. I frequently just don't wear makeup because I don't wear makeup and it's not a big deal. I'm using the California blusher. It's very pigmented, so you can put on too much without realizing it. At the same time as I got this email, I got a series of comments on my Instagram. I put up a post about a woman who approached me in H&M and started to kind of have a go at me for a piece I'd written about my rape experience. She introduced herself to me and I really embarrassingly was like, oh, somebody recognized me from Snapchat and is my friend. And I went, oh, hi, Rosemary, it's nice to meet you. And she said, I just want to talk to you about a piece that you wrote. I thought it was really disgraceful. I was like, oh no. And she went, that piece you wrote about rape and your rape experience, and you don't get to define rape. And she said the word rape 3 or 4 times. And I kind of was standing there going, fuck, like A, I don't want to have this conversation here in H&M. And B, I don't want other people to have to overhear a conversation about rape. A lot of women in that space will have had similar experiences. So I said, you know what, this isn't the time or place to have this conversation. And she said, I think it is. And I said, no, it's really not. And I went to walk away and she shouted after me and said that I was disgusting and disgraceful. So anyway, all this is to say that right after I got this email, somebody commented on this Instagram post and was like, it's interesting that you have an issue with people telling you what they think about you in real life when you claim that you want discussion. And it is kind of a tricky line to tread, because I am happy to have discussions about things the same way, like, I don't know, like a politician, right? So you're happy when you come to someone's door for them to ask you your views on abortion, but maybe when you're at a friend's wedding, you don't want someone to come up to you and go, why didn't you vote to repeal the 8th? Do you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of the difference of context, that it just seemed so out of context to be confronted by this woman in H&M. It was weird. Anyway, so this person commented on it and said, not only that I had an issue with somebody questioning me, but that I also managed to make that into a piece of content. Typical, you know, you're turning this into content for yourself and this thing happened, you're making a big song and dance out of it and getting all these like, hope you're okay, hun comments, which I was and was very grateful for. Everybody was very nice. Most people were very nice. When I then put up the post saying everybody should be kind and kind of talking about trolls, she then commented again and was like, oh, typical, you've managed to get content out of what I've said to you. And it was actually kind of funny because I was like, I wasn't even thinking about your stupid comments on Instagram. Little did they know there was somebody else in my emails at that very moment criticizing me. But it's one of those things, like, people ask me all the time, how do you deal with hate? A, I don't get that much. I don't get people commenting all the time saying like, stay to you or you're a sap or anything. But I do get the occasional person who just clearly doesn't like me. That's kind of harder to deal with because I think it's a very human reaction to be like, oh, why don't you like me? It definitely feels more personal because it's not somebody having an issue with the outfit I'm wearing or the content I'm putting out. It's somebody who just does not like me. And I think part of this game, part of being online and having an online persona is that people won't always like you and you're gonna have to accept that. But what I don't really buy into is the idea that I have to accept people being dicks. So when people say things like, if you put yourself out there, you're gonna have to take the criticism that goes with that. Like, no. Oh, this is amazing, by the way. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade? I'm not really sure. I'm going to now use my Victoria Beckham highlighter, Modern Mercury. It's beautiful. I have very bumpy skin, like I don't have super smooth skin. So when I put on a highlighter, you can see my bumps, but I don't really mind. So I'm just like, skin is skin and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to makeup. I never really know where one is supposed to put these things. I just copy what I see online and hope that it works out okay. Something that I was gonna say about haters and trolls is, what I'm talking about here isn't people coming on and going, you know what, I disagree with you, or I don't think you should be using your platform for this, or you're a moany cow. Like, somebody tweeted me a couple of weeks ago and said, God, would you ever just give over moaning? And I tweeted back and said something like, well, you don't need to follow me. And she was like, well, I only followed you a couple of weeks ago because I thought you were funny, but then all you've done is moan since then. And I went back and looked back through my tweets and I realized that like my last 10 tweets had just been all giving out. And it did kind of make me go, oh, hang on, you actually have a point. What I am talking about is people who go out of their way to send you criticism that is in no way constructive. Somebody messaging me and saying, you're really piling on the weight lately. That's not saying I don't like your content and I think you should alter it. That's literally just somebody coming along and going, I'm going to say something that I think is going to really, really upset you. And I think for a lot of people that would be really upsetting, would really hurt their feelings. But actually I think that person just really didn't get me. The fact that they thought insulting the way I talk, or, you know, insinuating that I talk a certain way because I think it's cute, I'm like, that would never even come into my mind. I'm gonna do eyeshadow because fuck it, why not? Lately I've been doing a bright lip instead of eyeshadow, but I'm gonna do eyeshadow today. This is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics that I love because they're all matte and they're really lovely colors. I think I'm gonna try and do something quite dark. I guess this is kind of like not even a rant, but more like a little exposition into what, like, why do we think people do this? Why do you think people do this? What should my response be? Should I be going like fuck off and not responding to people? Or, because I wrote back to that person actually deliberately trying to goad them and I just said, thanks so much for taking the time to message me. You know, I really like to take people's criticisms on board and I really value your contribution and I appreciate you taking the time, but I was really just trying to piss them off to make them feel like saddos who'd like fucking wasted half an hour writing an email to somebody because they hate them. And I was sure they'd write back as well that I was like, this is gonna be great, I'm gonna publish these emails on my site, but they didn't. So that was disappointing. I actually have another video that I want to shoot with my mean tweets in it. I was going to include that email, but then I decided I'd talk about it here. I also, I guess, I'm always giving out about other bloggers, like I know that, and I don't want to be like the blogger who hates bloggers, but I do hate that some bloggers make out that all sorts of criticism is hate and trolling. Even stuff like, you know what, I think that's a beautiful photo, but you photoshopped yourself too much. Or, you know what, I preferred when you used to do this. And the person in question will write back really defensively and be like, well, you don't follow me. And you're like, well, that's actually stupid because your followers are the whole reason that this is a job or that this is something that you can do. And you kind of owe it to them to be respectful, I think. And to try at least to, I don't know, to take their criticism on board and to not be so defensive. Because ultimately, if my best friend said to me, I find you really irritating and I find this thing that you do really irritating and you know the way you talk is really irritating, yes, I would definitely be upset. But people who read my blog aren't my best friends and my blog isn't me necessarily. Like, it is very much a part of me and what I put out, a lot of it's very personal, but I also recognize that there is a divide between me and me as an online persona, if that makes sense. And that you need to be able to keep that divide in order to have some kind of semblance of sanity. Because if you take everything super, super personally, like the way you would if it was said to you from a friend, like you're just gonna be so unhappy the whole time. Imagine, that could have ruined my weekend. I got that email on Thursday. I had been in Farnham with a friend overnight. We'd had a really nice time, gone to the spa, actually it was so nice, I'd love to go back again. And I got that email on Thursday when I got back. I probably could have let that ruin my whole weekend. I was a bit upset about it and I was feeling a bit down on Friday and just kind of going like, why does this person I don't know hate me so much? Why? Until then, I guess you really have to just focus on the fact that it's their issue, not your issue. What somebody thinks about you actually doesn't mean anything about you, it just means something about them. But I would love to do a reality show where you go and you meet people who've trolled you or have like sent you these nasty messages. It'd actually be amazing to find out like what was going through their mind or what did they hope to achieve. Is the satisfaction in sending this email the idea that you're going to really upset the person? The filming cut off there at some point and I actually don't know where it cut off. I don't know why it did that. This makeup once again is subtler than I meant to go for. This is the Smashbox Photo Set Finishing Powder. I just find it really good for getting rid of shine. I get quite shiny around here and on my forehead. But it doesn't make my face look really cakey, if that makes sense. What else can I say about trolls? I used to get a good bit of criticism on Snapchat. Not really criticism, I used to get people snapping me a lot just to go, you're really moany. That's like the common theme. But I don't get as much anymore because I'm probably not as moany as I used to be. See, I took criticism on board. But I do think that as bloggers, we are pretty much answerable to the public, if that makes sense. Our readers are the people giving us power and allowing us to collaborate with brands, you know, to market ourselves. So I totally get that as readers, you might want to be like, well, here's some advice or here's something I want to say to you. But I think there is a difference between well-intentioned advice and totally nasty online abuse. And I just don't get why you would engage in the latter when you have WhatsApp. You can just message your friends. I'm really bitchy. I'm sure like anybody who knows me would be able to tell you that. I am very critical of what other people do and I have no problem saying it. And I have no problem saying it to them if it's something that I'm like, you know what, you really shouldn't have said that. Or, you know, sometimes I'll see things on social media and stuff where people will be talking about feminism or fat phobia. Fat phobia is a particular one at the moment that I'm getting into a lot of arguments about. So I'm not afraid to go and give out to someone. But it's just a case that if it's completely unnecessary and hurtful, I don't know why I would go out of my way to criticize somebody. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat. This is actually, I just realized, for reshaping and resizing your lips. That's not why I use it, I just use it as a lip liner. Okay, so maybe I overdraw them slightly. I wasn't gonna do a bright lip, but now that I've lined my lips, I'm like, maybe I will. This is all for, I'm going to a Super Value event. I have to wear makeup so I don't look haggard and tomboyish, but I always try and make a bit of an effort. I would love to know, obviously, what you guys think of trolls and criticism. Are bloggers too sensitive? Do we all just kind of get up on our high horses when we should just be ignoring these saddos? Because I actually think it's kind of important to call it out and to go, you know what, this does happen. You know, in the context of kind of online bullying and people feeling really isolated, and to go, you know what, everybody gets this shit from like random strangers. I got these the other day, the new Max Factor matte, and they look really nice. I might try this one. This is the kind of orangey coral. It's actually a lot more higher than I thought it was going to be. As for my stance on haters and trolls, I always used to engage with people because I was like, you know what, nobody's opinion is less valuable than anyone else's. However, in the last while I've started to think, if you're a person who has never engaged with me, has never said anything to me, has never commented on anything or talked to me, and all of a sudden your only contribution to my online output is to criticize something in a major way, that kind of makes me go, I don't think I'm going to engage with you. And similarly, if someone is anonymous, like if somebody's on Twitter and they have a fake name or they comment on my site over and over again. Sometimes you'll see people commenting from the same IP address but with a different username or a different email. That person is literally just trying to get as many negative comments in and pretend that it's different people. I just block those now. It's not that I'm trying to block free speech. People can say whatever they want, but I'm just not giving them the space to say it on my platform. So they can say it somewhere else if they want, they can tweet it, they can put it on their own Facebook, but I'm not hosting it. And that's just the decision that I made pretty late on. Like, I've been doing this for, I guess, like 10 years I've been blogging now, kind of on and off. And I've always just allowed everyone's comments and gone, you know what, you just have to put up with the bad with the good. But now I've been at this too long to take this shit from random strangers. The thing about blogging as well is that it's not brave in the grand scheme of things like people being in the army or whatever. But it's brave to put yourself out there and to put your name to your opinions and to put photographs of yourself online to be critiqued. And you know what's not brave? Somebody saying something really nasty from an anonymous email address or from an anonymous Twitter account. That's just somebody being a dick. I don't really have any time for that anymore. And I guess that could be seen as me not being able to take criticism, but I think it's more I'm not willing to take abuse anymore, to host abuse. I happily will take criticism, and not that happily, but you know, if somebody wants to tell me something they did or didn't like about a video, or they did or didn't like about a blog post, or the reason that they're unfollowing me, I actually quite like that sometimes, unless the reason is just like, I find you really annoying, and then you're like, well, that's not that helpful. Oh, this is my new thing. I'm layering mascaras. So I use Benefit Roller Lash. I like this a lot more than They're Real because it just suits my eyelashes better. I have really shitty tiny eyelashes and They're Real really clumps. And then on top of that, I'm putting Lancome Hypnose Doll Eyes. And that is it. I'm ready. I'm going to the Super Value event, and then after that I'm going to go shopping with my friend, and I'm wearing my new Power Rangers t-shirt. I got it in Zara. This camera is making me look very, very pale, but I feel like in my mirror, I actually look quite tanned. You'll just have to take my word for it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this very long and rambling video. The next thing I'm gonna do is reading out my mean tweets one at a time. I have a folder on my computer, it's probably not very healthy. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it, but even better, if you didn't like it, please let me know why. Bye!